Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Let me check.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, and can you guys hear Angus?
And I can hear myself.
I can hear yourself. Okay.
I can hear myself.
Okay, let's do a quick audio check then.
I can also hear myself.
Alright.
Okay, so why don't
Cool.
go ahead? I already got Angus, so if Synth, you could talk, and I could just check your volume on this. Just tell me. Tell me about the weather currently in where you are.
It's a bit cloudy, though it's still light outside. Currently looking outside my window, and yeah, it's cloudy. Like I said before, it's cloudy. Couple, what I believe are pine trees outside. It's overall
Are they
nice.
coming out of the sky? Because if they're not, I don't think that counts as weather.
They're not. I mean, you wouldn't want pine trees out of the sky, do you?
I sure wouldn't.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Okay, and then Ninjatic, if we can do yours too.
Yeah, sure. What should I talk about?
The weather.
Or is
Tell me
anything?
the weather. Tell me the weather.
Well, I don't actually know what the weather's like because I haven't looked outside in a week.
Look out the window!
Curtains closed.
Oh my god.
It's
What?
quite hard to open it.
I mean, it's probably not worth looking outside anyway. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's probably dark by now as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I think I got everyone lined up. When Bacon gets on, I can go ahead and do that. And
Yeah.
and
And we're just not going to talk about Bowie, I guess.
is Bowie
Supposed to be in this debate? Yes. Not here.
You know
yeah.
what? We can give you guys some time to get ready, think about your life choices. So I'll put on some.
I need to be out of here by 4.
Okay. So don't
So-
think fast about your life choices.
I need to be out of here by like 1.
Basically, you guys have less than an hour. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine and understandable. Okay. Well, then we'll skip the music, or maybe I'll play it at the end. Okay. Fine. It was a good music too. I select these tracks, for you guys, for the viewers. You guys just laugh at that. Okay.
Next thing we know, we're just gonna be ended up with Rickroll.
Oh god.
Never gonna give
Truly
you up.
populist.
Never gonna let you down. Okay. Anyway.
Nice.
So thank you very much, all of you guys, for joining me on the third and last of the legislative debates for the first Parliament of Mark 8, Japan.
Oh, that's what I signed up for.
Yes, you did sign up for this, so I'm glad to inform you if you hadn't known before already. It is a momentous occasion, obviously, for these debates because we have a total of 15 different groups running for office in Parliament, which seems like a lot. I don't know compared to previous marks if that is, but not everyone is probably going to make it into the Parliament. It's possible everyone does. We never know. So really the stakes are, can you guys present to the voters your beliefs, your views in a manner that they'll be interested in voting for and supporting you guys. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your answers. Now, we have a number of questions that we've put together to submit to all of you for the answering. You may have seen that added to you in Discord or in previous debates. Also, we'll be taking questions from the audience. So, audience, if you have any questions that you would like to ask the candidates, please feel free to post it in there. I will sprinkle them in throughout the debates as things go on, depending on your questions. I will obviously ignore questions that are not quite interesting or relevant. So just letting you know. Candidates, you will have a chance to speak to everyone. If you guys wish to respond to someone, we are going to, because of the number of candidates, we're going to hold that off until everyone has a chance to speak into what we call a crossfire section. And then, of course, we're going to also have an opportunity, if we have time, for you to ask each other questions. But we, given how, much everyone has to go, in a few, within an hour, I don't want to press our luck. I want us to get through the questions first, and then we can get through to each other. If anyone says something completely outrageous, I will interject or ask questions or follow-ups. So just wanted to let you know. Also, don't try to speak for longer than, say, 3 minutes, though I don't think anyone really has. So And you don't have to answer in 3 minutes. A lot of answers can be very short. Do the candidates have any questions for me regarding the format of the debate?
No, Your Honor.
Excellent. I'm not an honorable person. I mean, I am an honorable person. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not a judge.
Don't sell yourself short.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so moving on to this debate here. Also for the audience, in case you don't know who's currently talking, on the Twitch stream, you should be able to see that there's an icon when someone is speaking. It will appear on the screen, so that way you'll be able to associate that person with their party or their name on the a poster to the left. Okay, so the first question is I'm going to go and have you guys introduce yourselves and your basically what you're running on, what your platform is, expand a little bit on who you are. And we're going to go ahead and start with since Bowie and Bacon aren't here, we're going to go ahead and go with Angus.
Bowie just got here.
Oh, Bowie.
Bowie just got.
Bowie, are you able to talk?
Briefly.
Okay, cool. I want to go ahead and I'll go ahead with you, Angus, so that since Bowie you just got here, but we're doing introductions right now. So Angus, why don't you go ahead?
All right. Well, the Patriot Party is looking for people who want to honor what Japan has to offer as a country. We want to build a strong military. We want to build a strong cultural identity. And we want to defend our national sovereignty against all threats from foreign powers. Now, in effort to do that, we're going to be concentrating on issues such as I said, the military. We're going to be building a strong and well-regimented religious system. We're going to be working on expanding our culture. And we're also going to be looking into economic prospects that will allow us to make sure that our country is able to survive and stand the test of the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angus. Okay. Bowie, I'm going to go ahead and go to you. So go ahead and introduce yourself and your platform to our voters. And
I'm Bowie, most excellent cultural monopolist, and we want a strong culture. We want to do it by knocking other cultures off the head and stealing their best parts. We might get into religion and all that, but we also want mad cash. We want money, we want culture, and we want ethnic cleansing if they annoy us enough. So we want to go from a different view. I mean, we don't really care about the whole religion thing. We just want money and cash and culture. And war, we're going to like war because war makes great culture. And we're going to knock other countries' culture and steal their culture. We're going to make our own culture. We're going to have a great culture. It'll be a mix of cultures, which will claim their own and will subjugate all the other cultures.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bowie. That's very interesting. I'm definitely going to follow up on what you said, and of course what Angus said. You said before, Angus. Synth, would you like to go ahead with your platform?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Synth, or C33, just either one. The Rational Decision Party obviously advocates for rational decisions. For example, making advancements in science and culture, because you can't exactly have a strong military when everyone around you is developing guns and you have spears. Therefore, it is imperative that we focus our intentions towards industry, science, and culture. By building up our own technological power, we can therefore defeat our enemies and secure our own independence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Synth. You are probably advocating for a policy that I haven't seen too many in a lot of parties, so I think you have a potential to stand out, but we'll see if the voters support your platform. Ninja Otter, you are the last person currently present, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ninja Otter. Got a joke. What's the difference between a good joke and a bad joke? Timing. That's it.
Thank you very much, Ninja Otter, for the joke. It's always good to add a little bit of humor and levity to these debates. Not many people here are funny, including myself. So, moving on then.
Or Ninja Otter, clearly.
Yeah. So, obviously, we have a very interesting discussion about culture that has been repeated between three of you, Angus, Bowie, and Synth, and you guys have all talked about developments of it. Now, I'm kind of curious though. Is the Patriots' position of a strong cultural identity different from the stealing culture position, Bowie? And then since just to add up on that, would that be something that you would support either way as just having culture? Like, do you support one or the other? So, why don't we start with you, Angus, about, what your definition of strong cultural identity is?
Well, for one, I can say that our strong cultural identity does not involve ethnic cleansing. We are anti-genocide, anti-atrocity. That should go without saying, but unfortunately, in this political climate, it doesn't. And that's something that we as a country are going to have to work on. Now, in terms of going to other countries and stealing their culture, that's not something we want to do. Going to other countries because they're attacking our culture, and we stop them attacking our culture and infringing on our cultural identity, well, that's something that we will be doing if it becomes necessary. Now, we're not going to directly escalate from, oh no, this country's decided to start publishing movies in Japan, let's go invade them. But if when we start imposing tariffs, and we start enacting policies that make them a little concerned, because they can't hijack our culture anymore,
okay,
they get a little frisky, then we'd be prepared to defend ourselves.
Okay, I want to follow up with that with this Bowie. Now Angus has said that
I have to question the Patriot Party is truly patriotic if they don't support getting rid of other cultures that threaten us. And personally, I feel like we should immediately invade countries that are publishing their art in our country, because if they do it better, then that's their art. But if we invade them, take them over, and they're under our government, then it's our art and we're making the good art. So our culture is dominant. And the ethnic cleansing, I mean, like, if a country is being mean to our culture, and we have to cleanse them. We can't have any cultural rivals, Then are you really a patriot? Because I'm questioning it now. And plus, no mention the money making of subjugating and stealing other cultures. I mean, think about it. The money you could make off invading a country, taking over their cinema, and making our own remakes of it, and making them make us culture. So really, we need to take over other countries, steal their culture, make it ours, and then take over any other country that doesn't agree with us.
So is your position on cultural acquirement more on just getting cultural artifacts from other nations, not necessarily appropriating their cultural traditions?
Both.
Okay.
I want to take their artifacts, and if they have some good traditions, I'll steal them as well. Personally, I feel like since we're in the business to also make money, we need to kick them in every single way so we can have more money, more power, and more money. And more culture. Culture is very important. We need a lot of culture as well. So we steal their artifacts, their traditions, and their art, so that we can be better than them. And worst case scenario, we can cleanse them if they start getting very uppity about us stealing their culture.
Okay, but I want to follow up on yes, Angus.
May I respond to the imbecile who just questioned my patriotism?
Very quick.
Well, you see, I haven't recognized the existence of greater art than what's produced by Japanese artists, and I think the fact that you have shows your true colors. You talk about money, I talk about establishing a country that's going to stand the test of time.
You can stand the test of time and be fucking poor. And also, this better art won't be not Japanese, because we'll have invaded them and made them Japanese. We have to understand that other companies, other cultures will do a better job than us, and we have to take them over, so it's us doing the better job. We will have the best culture, because we'll understand that the trick to have the best culture is to own every other culture and get rid of the cultures that don't play game.
Okay.
Other companies. There it is, folks. He's a corporatist. He's one of those Zaibatsu corporatists. That's what we need to get rid of in this country.
Please, Candace, please. Candace, please. So, Bowie, we want to go quickly back to this ethnic cleansing, and then Synth, I want to get to you a second. Just give me a second. Ethnic cleansing. In what manner do you propose we enact this ethnic cleansing? What would this entail?
We raise the cities as a last resort, of course, but we ban their languages, their culture, and over time, we kill their potatoes. We just kill their culture slowly and steadily so they come into line with our one.
Would this involve, killing certain ethnic groups and so the other ethnic groups would be able to prevail?
Well, if they start getting very, very annoying and like trying to overthrow us, if it's the Japanese versus any other culture, of course. It only makes sense.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying. Synth, so you talked about advancement of culture here, and I want you to, just comment on the positions that your two opponents have laid out here.
Well, first of all, I would disagree in the fact that ethnic cleansing is not the best idea. Sure, you can borrow some cultural concepts from neighboring civilizations and incorporate them to your own culture to make them better, but you can't just kill them off. That's completely irrational. And besides, if you want trading partners or
I'll only
allies
kill
in
them
a
if they
war,
get up.
sorry, if you want allies in a war or trading partners, then killing off everyone else isn't the best option.
Okay. And what about do you have any opinions
You
on?
don't have to trade if you rule the world.
It's a very good point. Very good point. Do you have any positions, Synth, on what Angus said regarding the Patriots' position? Is that
I
something
don't
that you guys
exactly-
could align on? Maybe that you both want, strong culture and maybe a coalition on
Cultural
it.
appropriate, maybe I might consider. But one thing is certain, that cultural artifacts should be the shared property of humankind. I mean, I'm a synth. I don't really have any talking point. I don't have any right to talk about this, Lamau. But yeah, cultural artifacts should be shared between civilizations as a common historical bonding, sort of, where one cultural artifact, say from civilization A, when brought to civilization B, could have could give civilization B some reflection on what they're doing and maybe change their course a bit if they want to.
Very well. Ninja, do you have anything you want to say on the topics that was discussed already?
Well, I mean, talking about culture, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think culture is Sesame Street. And I once had a friend who asked me who my favourite vampire in pop culture was, and I said, the one from Sesame Street. He said, it doesn't count. And I went, I assure you, he does. Thank you.
Okay, that was funny.
That was really funny, Ninja. That was great.
Your last joke nearly had you on the slate for a purging, but I'll allow you to stay.
Okay.
Can we stop threatening to ethnically cleanse candidates?
Oh no, we're
That
not
is
going
a
to
good
end
idea.
defense.
Yeah,
This is just basic
I'd side with
purges.
English on this
If you
one.
act against the government, we kill you. You know.
No purging, please.
Okay, and
Also, Ninja, if you were so inclined, if we win a seat in Parliament, actually, never mind. It involves, machine integration and stuff. Nothing too big.
And now they're trying to make parties and deals on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Japan we are looking at for election.
I will give whatever party wants to work with me 5 severed heads.
Okay, and moving on. Speaking of the Japan that we are working with, we need to figure out what kind of world we're working with. So, what game settings?
One that we rule.
What game settings here are obviously, as the first parliament, you guys would have to decide what game settings we play. And, of course, work with other parties to determine what game settings we play. This would include things like the map type, or the DLC, or even the difficulty setting of what we do. A lot of different options, including mods. So I want to go ahead and ask each of you what your kind of positions or what kind of settings you would like to advocate for. And we're going to go ahead and start with you, Bowie.
Well, I think we should play on a medium difficulty, and I think we should play on a map that I think a real world map. And I think that we should play with all the DLCs. And that's my only opinion, because I've never actually played Civ 6.
Okay, Angus?
Well, I think that in terms of game settings, our biggest issue is just going to be getting those done and fast. We've got a job to do as a government, and it isn't to sit around and argue over which specific algorithm that no one understands we're going to use to figure out what's going to be a mountain.
We should argue about who we're going to kill.
Okay, so the Patriots are just in for getting things done efficiently. Makes sense. Okay, is Bacon? Bacon, are you here?
Hi.
Hi, Bacon. Welcome to the debate. I don't know how much you've heard so far, But we are currently talking about settings and what our parties would advocate for. Is there any settings that you or your party are going to want to advocate for if elected to parliament?
Yeah, currently, Union advocates for either a terror or continents and islands map on standard size, so however many civs that is, king difficulty for a nice central ground, but not too easy that we just blitz past all the AI in government. And all the DLCs except for the New Frontier Pass. I feel like them DLCs are a bit too unbalanced. The only one that I'd be open to adding would be the Vietnam pack, so we could have monopolies and corporations added, but even then that's unbalanced as well, so I would prefer to stick with the Barbarian Clans mode on only out of them.
Okay, thank you very much, Bacon. Synth, go ahead.
I haven't really been playing much Civ 6. I do have it on Epic, but I'm just too lazy. Instead, I play Civ Beyond Earth. But yeah, I would agree with Angus on this one. Excuse me?
Civ B is inherently better. Anyway, have fun. Keep agreeing with me. I like it.
So yeah, I would agree that a real world with I'd agree with a more realistic approach, both figuratively and literally, with all mods, all DLCs, all content packs, to make for a more realistic simulation of civilization, because this game is obviously titled Civilization, and you can't exactly do fantasy, right? Because this is a realistic game, and we need to have realistic concepts.
That's a very good point. Okay, Ninja Otter?
I think we should have a map where we can settle somewhere, and I think we should play Civ 6.
Oh, that actually brings up a very good point, honestly, Ninja Otter. Now, as Parliament, technically you guys have the power to choose what game we play. Admittedly, the organizers did hold a vote, and everyone elected Civ 6, but it is not currently listed in the Constitution that we have to play Civilization 6.
I have two games I'd like to put forward. My first choice of a game is, of course, we play Yakuza 5. My second choice is, of course, Europa Universalis 4.
I wanted to go ahead and ask whether you would, as a candidate or as a party, confirm or deny that you guys would push forward for Civilization 6 as voted on in the organizer vote. I'm going to go one by one. So, Bowie?
Well, I mean, if I guess we'll support it because we already committed enough political suicide today that we have to go with their opinions. But if we had to do something else, once again, Yakuza 5 or Europa Universalis 4.
Okay, Bacon?
Yeah, pushing for Civ 6 still.
Okay, Angus?
See, at the end of the day, the Patriot Party, well, I don't care what the Patriot Party thinks about this issue. As a party, I do not care. I put in good work as an organizer. I have this Constitution written. I presided over the writing of this Constitution. And when we held that vote, it was binding. We said it was binding. It wasn't binding the first time because everyone messed up. But then we did it again, and that one was binding. So we're keeping it.
Okay, I guess. Synth?
I would advocate for Civ 6 as well.
Okay, and then Ninja, you said that you were advocating for Civ 6. Do you want to expand on that, or no, you're good?
Well, I mean, now that I heard that Yakuza 5 is an option, I'm thinking that instead.
Very well, okay.
One more for the movie.
It's always good to have people that, have a lot of differing opinions and such. One of the things that has been brought up before in chat was in regards to various settings in DLC. And specifically, we were talking about the monopolies and corporations that Bacon, you've brought up. There's a concern that playing with such DLC might be a little bit broken or overpowered, given that you would be able to win I believe it's a tourism or cultural victory fairly early, would you be in favor of that DLC, or would you prefer not having that DLC, or would you not be in favor of installing a mod that would tone down the cultural capacity of this feature?
I feel we should have free market of mods, which should allow every mod to be used.
Okay. That's a lot of mods, but okay. Anyone else have an opinion on that?
Wait, I meant DLC. We should allow every DLC to be used.
Okay. Good clarification. I was like, if we install every mod, it might be a complicated game.
I would like to reiterate my point that Union stands. We would, in terms of RP, Corporations game mode is an amazing game mode. However, in game balancing terms, it is pretty broken, so a mod to possibly tone down the stuff you get from it would be great RP and would have our support.
Thank you, Bacon. Okay.
I would like to comment on this specific issue.
Sure.
In terms of DLC, as I've said, the Patriot Party is looking to get this process over with fast. But fast does not mean without regard for the intricacies of the game. And we do want to create a long and successful game. So we will be carefully addressing the issues of DLC that are likely to cause the game to be over within, a few terms.
Okay, that's very reasonable. I'm going to go ahead, candidates, and move us on to the next question, since we need to, keep things going. So, the first game session or stream will occur during your term, once the settings bill is passed and there is a prime minister to play the game, along with every other constitutional requirement required for that. So, is there any initial plans that you or your party would have for the first game session or stream? Are there any positions that you guys would like to advocate for the stream? And we'll go ahead.
We want to make many cities to have many armies, so we can make much cultural wars, because as we all know, war makes the best cultural artwork. We need to go to a lot of wars once we get enough settlers, so we can get all those great anti-war and pro-war poets and stuff, so that we can get great culture, because as is history, great culture comes from great war. I mean, just look at Japan. It's been like 500 years of war itself. Great culture, great war.
Okay.
I would beg to differ. I would actually beg to differ. I'm reading over Japan's Civ 6, the Japan's page on Civ 6's wiki, and their policy is sort of concentration. We can have cities, but we have to cluster them together, both for how it's supposed to be played, and also it's easier to defend that way. A smaller army with high technology and good defenses could protect our cities that way. We should also, to that end, we would also need to explore, but not exactly settle, because that just spread our influence far and wide, but it also stretch our defenses.
That's very reasonable. Okay, Angus?
Look,
sorry, Bacon?
Yeah.
All right, whoever wants to go next.
Well, I was the one who was talking, so I think I'll go. In the first game session, what we need to do is get ourselves set up and get a feel for the world that we're going to be living in. Because that first game session is going to define the rest of our nation's existence. And it's not going to be through the choices of the Prime Minister. We have some very strong feelings on who the Prime Minister should be, but those aren't going to matter in the first game session. What's going to matter is the lay of the land, where we put that first city, and just everything else that is visible from our first look at our new world.
Okay.
So we just want to see what's going on and get that thing over with as soon as possible so that we can actually start legislating, doing our job as a parliament, and creating an executive branch that isn't just standing up and doing whatever they want, playing a game. Because, the Prime Minister can go play a game of Civilization on their own whenever they want.
Okay.
As a country, we get one shot at this. And we aren't going to waste it.
Thank you very much, Angus. Bacon?
Yeah. I mean, for the first session, I stand to reason that we should probably settle our capital city, at least within the first session. But it can't all be just, it's going to be the defining session. It will define almost all actions we take afterwards, where we put our second city, where we expand, which direction, where we put our districts, possible wonders. It is one of the most important sessions, and we should have a competent, at least, ministry for this first session. And they'll be my main goal, if in Parliament, to elect such a competent ministry for this first session.
Thank you very much, Bacon. Ninja Otter?
My plan for the session is to have at least read half the Constitution. So we'll see. Hopefully, by the 10th, I would have read all of it. So yeah, that's my plan.
Always
Wait,
good.
people read constitutions?
To be honest, I wasn't even sure we had one just then. So
I just kind of go and act and just hope the guy don't break any big laws.
Probably won't.
Okay, good. As you were saying?
Okay, Bowie, follow-up question from the audience. How do you and the monopolist sleep at night?
Naked on a pile of cash.
Well then. Okay, so one of the things that you guys have brought up as candidates multiple times is that there is going to be a ministry that the legislature has to select, or at very least a prime minister. And the prime minister, in addition to having to follow what the legislature says to do, might have a lot of leeway in deciding certain things during the game session itself. Are there certain viewpoints or parties or candidates that you guys have already in mind for supporting for the prime minister position?
Yeah, well, myself. I want to sound that myself. If Blonde's up for it, of course I'll vote for him. He's fucking purge-proof. If anyone tries to purge Blonde, I will purge you first. So, yeah, myself, really, though. That's my first choice.
Okay, anyone else?
Well, I think the issue with Prime Minister, at the end of the day, what we're going to do is we're going to find a Prime Minister. We're going to make some deal, get him in with a coalition. And we're not going to make him the most powerful man in the country. Or woman. Or space slug. Or just general non-binary individual, but I'd prefer space slug to some of those.
Okay, cool. Ninja?
But the big thing is to make sure that Prime Minister is powerless. We don't want concentrated power, because, frankly, we're probably not going to be the people who are concentrating it in ourselves.
Okay. Ninja Otter, I saw that you wanted to speak.
I would like to.
Sorry, go. Okay, Bacon. Yeah, Ninja Otter first, though.
I'd like to nominate my dog. I feel like he'd be really good for it. He can't speak, but I don't think he needs to.
What breed?
Husky.
Truly a good breed.
I'll offer you on a coalition, kind of share the position with my pug.
Sure.
Can we stop making
I'm pretty
deals in the debate?
I'm pretty sure Mark V died because
You're
Ken
just
nominated
jealous no
his
one
dog.
wants to make a deal with you, Agnes.
It was a cat.
Oh, well, same difference, right?
Yeah.
Cats, dogs, living together.
Yeah. Well.
Go ahead, Bacon. Go ahead.
Yeah. We look to preferably, while not make the Prime Minister powerless, because it is important to keep a strong executive head. We hope to have an expansive ministry behind him to devolve more of the issues from his direct authority to these ministers, preferably.
You mean like splitting up
Possibly.
power among different ministers?
Yeah, but and ensuring that the Prime Minister cannot just tell this minister what to do. This minister has their own policies that they push forwards, and there is a general consensus between the Prime Minister and the rest of the ministry of what they're going to achieve.
Would these ministers be divided by their authority, like war or culture or religion or something like that?
Yeah, round about that.
Okay.
We may group some of the smaller ministries into one, preferably. I mean, yeah, you don't need a minister for all the civilian units just to do that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Synth, do you want to comment on any of this?
It is my belief that the monarch should be reduced to a figurehead, like in real-world Japan, to
There isn't a
maximize. Sorry?
There isn't.
We don't have a monarch.
Oh. Okay. Well, in that
Establish
case, all the
monarchy.
no, Bowie, let's not establish the monarchy.
There's
However,
only a
it'd be
monarch
great
spot.
to have a greater democratic tradition, opening suffrage to everyone, and it'd be great to have an education system that tells the voters what's actually going on in their politics in order to.
So they don't think there's a monarchy? That would be a good idea.
I say let's vote for a new king. I think I should be king.
There isn't a monarchy.
No monarchy, please. But yeah, I suggest a greater democratic tradition, expanding suffrage, coordinating voting polls, and also as a side note, we could probably have a lot of people in STEM and technology go vote for prime minister, because that way we can have a better scientific and cultural tradition, and we would be leagues ahead of other civilizations if we vote for someone that believes in technology and science.
Okay.
I think we should build intergalactic planet-killing weapons so we can destroy Krypton.
Okay, thank you very much, Bowie, for that, and Synth, of course. We're going to move on to the next questions, candidates, because we don't have too much time. So, foreign relationships. We have discussed a little bit about this before with ethnic cleansing and other such topics. What are your thoughts on how Japan should approach relationships with city-states and other nations? And we're going to go ahead and start with Mr. Ethnic Cleansing himself, Bowie.
We should try and either establish a good friendship with some of the smaller ones, have like little pets, or if they're really big and threatening to our culture, we should make them our bitch, whether by war, by trade, or by ethnic cleansing. Just drive them into a weaker state, and then we can be friendly with them, or we can just take over all their land and kill their leaders, and get them involved in our purge cycle that we have going on. So yeah, and we should also assimilate their art as well. We need to assimilate them as well. Like we have to assimilate, of course, when we conquer them. But we should, to see states and those things, just keep them around. Like, it's not. We need give them a little second city. Just be nice. What the fuck are they gonna do? Fucking shake their fists at us? We don't have anything to fear from city states. We should be nice to city states. They're like little pets.
Okay, well then, Bacon.
Yeah, we don't support ethnic cleansing in any shape or form. So preferably, in any sense of the word, we're going to keep great relations with our city-states, as they remain one of the better opportunities into allowing for a victory time. Of course, we can get the diplomatic victory if we ever somehow get to that stage through them. So maintaining great relations with them are important. Other, like barbarians, depending if we have barbarians clans on, would dictate our policy, but till we decide that, we have no direct policy on barbarians.
Okay, thank you very much. Angus?
Well, my party has already begun drafting an authorization for the use of military force against hostile indigenous tribes. We find the threat of these unorganized people coming into our land, stealing our art, our culture, and our food. We find that to be a big problem. And these people, they're coming across the border. They're not sending their best. They're sending their rapists. They're drug dealers.
This is sounding like approval of my ethnic cleansing policy.
Angus, just a little quick rebuttal on that. We could, however, instead of, condemning all these people to death, or imprisonment for the rest of their lives, we could reform them into new nations.
We could make them
New
into
city
slave
states.
soldiers.
I agree with Bacon. We need to bring progress to other city-states and barbarians, and without destroying their cultural heritage. That way, we can have trading allies, partners, and guess what? We don't need ethnic cleansing. Breaking news.
We should cleanse the barbarians. Just get rid of all them. I think we should be nice to the city-states, though. They're so small and pathetic. It's like kicking a puppy, We can't really do any harm to a city-state.
Well, there's a difference between
Well, why
kicking a
would you
puppy
want-
and kicking a rabid dog that's trying to bite your head off. The authorization for the use of military force is going to be very specific
Agnes,
in where the Prime Minister
Agnes.
can actually attack these enemies,
Agnes,
and defining them as a very narrow group.
The fact that you think that a city-state can threaten us shows you're not very patriotic.
Okay. Let's keep some order going on over here so we can keep moving. So Ninja, I believe you're the only one that hasn't been able to speak. So if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought we were playing on the map by ourselves. I didn't realize there was going to be any city-states, barbarians, or other cities. So, news to me.
I like
Thanks.
this ninja's ideas.
Truly solo Civilization 6 play. Well, I've never seen it before, but I certainly suppose that is an option. Okay.
We would win by domination.
Angus, you've been accused of not being very patriotic in this last round of debates. Do you want to respond to that?
Look, at the end of the day, when a man who's advocating for ethnic cleansing doesn't like you, that's a win. And if he wants to call me not very patriotic, because I think we can rise above slitting the throats of everyone who looks or acts slightly different to us,
Hey,
instead of just proving to them that our culture
I called you not patriotic because
supreme.
you thought a city-state to be a threat to us. City-states are less a threat to us than a random dog.
Bowie, I'm speaking.
I know, that's why I'm speaking.
Now, we are not threatened by city-states, but they're gonna be annoying. If they're right up against us, that could be a problem. At the end of the day, I am the most patriotic candidate on this stage. I am the only person here with a shot of going to Parliament and creating real, strong change that will further Japan's interests culturally, both domestically and against foreign enemies who may act to subvert our interests.
Okay, I'm gonna
Anyone
go.
here want to work against the Patriot Party with me?
Anyway, Synth and Bacon. So, what if we find ourselves next to starting relatively close to a fairly aggressive or warlike civilization that is gonna, perhaps they're not gonna target us, but they target city-states or other civilizations for an early conquest? Would your party or you change your position based on that circumstance?
For a civilization or a barbarian group?
For civilization.
For a civilization itself, if they are being overly aggressive to anybody, really, us city-states, declared friends, an intervention may be required in their nation.
Okay, Synth?
I agree. And I will stand by my point that we will stick to our own cluster of cities while fortifying and researching, so that when the other civilization comes, we'll be, again, leagues ahead of them in technology, and we will decimate their armies. And yes, I will support a cultural intervention.
Okay. Candidates, we are going to move on to the final official question just for time purposes. So, there has been some discussion throughout the Discord of implementing an official economic system or systems. And by this, I say meta-economic systems. Perhaps something related to currency, perhaps housing. Different methods or ideas have been thrown around. What is your thoughts on or positions on this matter? And we're going to go ahead and start with Bowie.
Well, you see, personally, I feel we need economic systems because it allows deals and corruption to occur. And see, the thing is, you might be like, corruption is a bad thing, but in my opinion, it's a good thing because it adds more intrigue to the whole metagame. It adds plots, it adds tuning, and you need plots and scheming for the game to work well. Like, it sounds terrible, and this is not even me, like, jokingly playing it up, but currency is a great help in even buying things and such like that, as it adds a bit more stakes to it all, you know? You could even have a communist party who wants to abolish the property. You know, it's something that has potential in a metagame fashion, and this isn't even the I'll encouraging. This is an actual opinion I've had for a while.
Okay, thank you. Bacon?
Any form of meta economic system, probably at this point, as it's not codified in the Constitution, would require a meta referendum with the entire populace. But we do support a system as we believe in a market economy held by the players and currency and the free trading of property, resources. That's also another reason we advocate for the corporations. What we do if it's toned down a bit, because it can add great RP opportunities within a meta economy.
Okay, Angus?
When I wrote the Bill of Rights, I made sure that there was a provision in there to allow for Parliament to regulate the trading of goods and services. I made sure that those wouldn't be somehow construed to be under freedom of expression. And this is what the Patriot Party will do. We will regulate the trading of goods and services. We will also regulate residency. And we will do this with a housing bill that I have already drafted about 4 sections of. We have the bill ready to go. Almost. And we will do by the first parliamentary session. To ensure that there is a real in-game value to the use of currency.
Angus, you're going to have to expand on this. What housing bill, what would this do exactly?
Essentially, every territory is going to have a set number of houses. And when I say set, I mean that number is going to be set and changeable by the government. The government can buy houses from people and then destroy them, or the government can make new houses and sell them to people. Now, each state government would be able to make their own houses, and the parliament would cover all territories that aren't in states. If you're going to move to a state, or a territory, if you're going to move to a territory, you need to have some level of claim to a house in that territory.
And what would these
be it someone else's house that's letting you stay there, or your own.
And what would these houses do in terms of economics?
Well, essentially, if you've got to own something to move to a new state, that's going to make it harder for people to move to places. But if people want to go to a different state so that they can run for an election there, or their party can better control that state government, they're going to need a house. They're going to have to pay good money to get that house, to get in.
How will people get money in the first place?
Well, we do have some plans to establish a currency. They're not very well fleshed out at this time, but we will be doing that to some degree.
I say you get paid for every city you burn to the ground.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Angus. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and then ask Synth of your position on
Well,
this.
in terms of housing and currency, I believe that Civilization is a pay-to-play game, but not a pay-to-win game. That no matter how much money you put in, the amount of contribution should be equal. And everyone should receive what they need and produce what the state needs. And we should coordinate an economic policy that guarantees the basic rights of housing and water and electricity to all you organics who need it in exchange for...
Connie!
If can you let Synth finish, please, Angus?
No.
Huh?
I won't listen to this communist propaganda. Our children shouldn't be listening to this communist propaganda. This is
We should be
ridiculous. We
listening to
can't have
capitalist
these people in our government. They want the end of our democracy.
Oh, they're against democracy? Shit, maybe
I
this
never
communism
said
might have
that.
some good ideas.
Okay, hold on, candidates. Sims, please go ahead and finish your statement.
First of all, I endorse democracy, and I believe that while the people may not know everything, we can educate them to know everything, and education requires the basic needs to be fulfilled, such as
Propaganda.
food,
Angus, please.
shelter, etc. And I believe that housing should be coordinated. I'm not too good with economics, so I'll leave that up to other people, to the brighter minds of this call. So, yeah, I yield back.
Okay, and Ninja, what would your position be on economics?
So I've heard some good things about cryptocurrency, so I'd recommend we all get into this thing I've heard of called BitConnect. I'm pretty sure it'll make us all lots of money. Thank you.
I like how this ninja man thinks.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've heard cryptocurrency thrown around into Discord before, so that's not entirely new to me. Very exciting. Angus, you can now comment if you'd like on Synth's position.
At the end of the day, this is just a complete failing of our government. He wants education. Well, I want education, but I want good education. Not education that's going to tell people that they should be giving all that they have to the government. We can't do that here. We can't have a successful country where there is no motive to production. Where there is no right to keep your own home, to keep your own family safe. The government might be giving you stuff, and that's all very well for about the first week, but after that, you're going to be feeling the cost.
Okay, thank
and
you.
And it does not get better.
Bo, you want to say something?
Synth's idea, including especially the abolishing democracy. I think that's a very good idea, Synth. I like that. And the education idea is good because
I never said we were going to abolish democracy.
It's great. I know, Synth, yes, you hate democracy, you want to abolish it. It's a great point.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. But anyways, since you send educate people dying a pointless war, the culture grows a lot better. You know, as part of the culture, they start waxing philosophical. You have more culture from smart people dying tragically young in a war that really had no purpose. So
Okay.
we should have good education, no democracy, like how Synth recommended, and we should also go to war a lot.
I never said this is literally called Democraciv. There was democracy is literally in the name. I'm not going to abolish that.
It's a bold move if you want to abolish it, Synth.
Oh, Bowie,
I
if we could let Synth, would you like to respond to what Bowie said?
I never said that we were going to abolish democracy. I swear.
You said
It's
you just said
literally
we
in
were
the
going
name.
to abolish democracy.
Okay, candidates. Bacon, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just a small point. Angus, how is what Sim suggested in any way actually communist in nature compared to what you suggested in regulating the economy, such as housing, and the government provides housing for the people?
The government won't be providing any housing.
Won't they? Didn't you say they were providing housing, though?
The government's going to build houses, because there's no better way of facilitating that in the current economy.
Okay, so the government's going to build houses.
So I'm hearing you're a communist, but you don't want to abolish democracy, unlike Sin. That's pretty weak.
I'm no communist. The government's going to build houses, but you still got to work to pay for that house.
Well,
you aren't getting that house for free.
That sounds like you're going all the way to the other end of the spectrum there, and you're actually leaning more towards the fascist side of the scale there. Is the Patriotic Party suggesting a fascist economy-based system?
Oh, no.
Look, I don't know where you're from, but around here, fascism isn't merely suggesting that we should build a house every so often so that people, hard-working Japanese citizens, can find a warm place to sleep.
I'm pretty sure that is actually some fascist rhetoric. So it seems Agnes and Synth both want to abolish democracy.
It seems like that. Both. Why can't people build their own houses? Why do we need to have the government build it for them?
Because,
like you said, you've got
the average
hard-working
person. They probably can't even build the bloody cabinet. How are they gonna build a house?
Okay,
Hard
candidates.
working.
Candidates, I'm sure that's something that the parliament could figure out on how to utilize this housing if it goes through. Ninja, you didn't have a chance to respond to any of these things. You want to say anything more?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna go move on to one audience question, and the question would be: is how do you? And this can go to any of you, honestly. As how do you guys feel that because of in regards to questions of balance in terms of gameplay settings, perhaps difficulty, perhaps mods or DLC we're playing, how do you feel that perhaps it's not necessarily going to be easy for our nation or our government to abuse or even fully optimize these systems, given that previously in Civ games, because of how there's so many chefs in the kitchen, so to say, things are not done very optimally to begin with?
It's a good reason why we should abolish democracy, like how Synth and Agnes have been recommending.
Anyone else want to chime in or no?
I'm always willing to talk. We, as a country, we gotta represent the people, and that's a little more important than doing everything perfectly the first time. There are growing pains to democracy. But as long as we build a society where every hard-working Japanese citizen can build a house or buy a house, create a family, and give them a home, then I think we've done our job.
Thank you, Angus. Bacon?
Government is never gonna work at 100% optimization, but I hope that Union as a party and an organization can push for a more efficient government, a streamlined government, but one that has the right checks and balances to ensure that it does what it was voted in to do.
Okay, thank you very much, Bacon.
Like abolishing democracy.
Ninja, I have a follow-up.
No.
Oh, sorry, Ninja. I have a follow-up question for you. So, in a previous debate, Wes, who is also running as an independent, has endorsed you and Joe McCarthy, both other independents, for votes. Do you wish to reciprocate the favor towards Wes and or Joe?
Sorry, what was the question?
So, in a previous debate, Westcott has endorsed you and Joe McCarthy as fellow independents for support in potential future parliaments or votes. Did you want to comment that or reciprocate the endorsement towards Westcott?
Sure. I don't know. Maybe.
If we start purging people,
We'll see.
West is the first to go.
Very well. That is completely understandable. Do any of you have any things that you'd like to say in regards to what previous candidates have said at previous debates?
I haven't heard any of the debates, but if they said anything about me, they're liars and their mothers are whoresons.
Wait, this was a debate.
Okay. Well then, we're gonna go ahead then and move on to closing Oh, Bacon, did you want to say something? Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead then and move on to closing statements. Since we want to just wrap things up, so we're gonna because we kept going in a specific order from alphabetical down. Or rather, just whoever I listed on this chart. Honestly, we're gonna go backwards for the closing statement. So Ninja, why don't you go ahead and make your closing statement? Okay, thank you very much, Ninja.
Hello.
If that was intentional, that's cool. If not, let me know ahead of time. We can go back to you. Synth, would you like to make your closing statement?
I hope, first of all, I endorse democracy, I support democracy, and I will use my party resources to defend democracy if possible. And we will also, and I urge everyone to vote rational decisions for, of course, rational decisions, science, technology, culture, and the general welfare of the people. Oh, I gotta go.
Okay, thank you very much, Synth. Angus?
Clearly the democracy police is coming to get them.
Well, I'm just not going to listen to Bowie at this point. I don't think any of us should be. He's dangerous to our democracy, so, Anyway, let's talk about clothing. The Patriot Party represents the best that Japan has to offer. We will support our cultural supremacy. We are an exceptional nation of exceptional people, and the Patriot Party is going to promote that. And we're not going to do that by murdering people. We're not going to do that by, corrupting our children and stealing their homes and their hard-earned money. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to work. We're going to get to Parliament, and we're going to get work done. We're going to build a country that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angus. Bacon.
Yep. The Union Party and myself stand for the final policy of eventually abolishing states entirely, having a streamlined system of government. To this end, if you vote Union on election day and allow us to enter Parliament, we will push forward our goals to eventually abolish states, but we do not see that as the foremost goal. The foremost goal is to establish a stable Japan which can lead further on into the future, where we can push for our final goals of abolishing states.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bacon. And Bowie, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is quite frankly this, which is, first of all, we deserve the vote, because if you don't vote for us, we will purge you. We have the secret police, we know your identities, and we know who you're voting for. So vote for us or you'll get purged, and we do promise that we will uphold democracy to a certain level. We will allow you to, at the very least, vote on some things. So we're not as gung-ho about abolishing democracy as Agnes or Synth is. We have our limits, and we want to establish currency. We want to get the better culture, and we want to make sure all the other culture looks like little girls. We want good friendship with states, and we want you to vote for us, or once again, the secret police will kill you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bowie. And thank you very much to all our candidates for joining us, Bowie, Bacon, Angus, Synth, and Ninja Otter. I wish you all the best of luck in the future election. Elections will be opening up on Friday. That will be tomorrow, March 26th, whenever the moderator is posted. And I believe it will be up for a few days, so you have the weekend to look over the candidates, review their platforms, and determine which of them you would like to support in the upcoming parliament. Remember that for each party or candidate, a party or candidate must have at least 5 seats in order to be seated. So there can only be, at the very most, 20 people within the parliament. Also, additionally, there is a 10-seat cap. So no one person can hold more than 10 seats in a parliament. So distribution may be required depending on party size. I wish all 5 of you the best of luck. I wish all 15 of you the best of luck. And thank you very much to our viewers for joining us for the third and final debate for the first government of Japan. Have a good evening.
Farewell. Death to my enemies.